All right, welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Today we're going deep on something, well, pretty heavy, I guess you could say. We're looking at Psalm 10.
Psalm 10, yeah.
And it really gets at this feeling, this cry for justice, when things just feel so unfair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like that burning desire to see things set right, to see justice served. And the thing is, Psalm 10 was written thousands of years ago.
Thousands.
But it's still just as powerful and relevant as ever, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just captures those raw emotions, that frustration, that anger.
It's like when you read it, you can almost feel the weight of the injustice, right?
Totally. It's right there on the surface.
Like it's almost visceral. And I think one of the things Psalm 10 does so well is it paints this really stark contrast, this black and white picture almost.
Right.
You've got the arrogance and cruelty of the wicked, the oppressors, just crushing the vulnerable, the oppressed. Like, remember that line?
Which one?
It's like, the wicked arrogantly chase the oppressed.
Oh, yeah. They're trapped by the schemes the wicked have dreamed up.
Ugh. It just sends chills down your spine. It's brutal.
It is. It's brutal. But that's the reality of it, right?
Yeah. And it's not just like this abstract concept. The psalm uses this really vivid imagery like lions stalking their prey, or hunters setting traps.
Yeah, the nets.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. And it just drives home that sense of being trapped, of being totally powerless against a much stronger force. Like, have you ever felt that way?
In my own life.
Yeah, in your own life. Like, where the odds were so stacked against you that you felt like you were fighting a losing battle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think we've all been there at some point.
Right.
Where you just feel totally helpless.
Right.
But the crazy thing is, Psalm 10 doesn't stop there. I mean, it doesn't just describe the actions of the oppressors. It actually gives us this really creepy look into their minds, like how they think.
Oh, yeah, like they think they're invincible or something.
Exactly. There's this one line that's just bone-chilling. It says, God won't hold me accountable. I will never be shaken. It's like...
It's scary.
It's scary, right.
Because it shows that they have zero empathy.
Done.
And they're totally self-deceived. Like, these people truly believe they're above the law, that they can get away with anything.
It's almost like they've convinced themselves they're untouchable.
Yeah, like consequences don't apply to them.
Exactly. And sadly, this isn't just some ancient problem, right? I mean, you think about some of the scandals we see today.
Oh, yeah.
People in power acting like they're above the rules. It's like Psalm 10 is holding up this mirror to our own society.
Totally. It's like, it's timeless, these patterns, like whether it's corruption, people abusing their power.
Misuse of power, yeah.
Taking advantage of others. It's a constant throughout history.
It's a constant. And that's what makes the cry for justice in Psalm 10 so powerful and so urgent. Like, you read these lines, rise up, Lord, O God, strike him down. Do not forget the oppressed. And it's just this raw, desperate plea for someone, anyone, to intervene.
Yeah, for someone to set things right, to tip the scales back to balance.
And tip the scales, yeah. It's a cry for divine justice, almost.
Yeah.
Like a belief that some higher power will ultimately ensure that good triumphs over evil.
Yeah, exactly. That in the end, justice will prevail.
And that's something, this idea of divine justice, that's something that's been so powerful throughout history. You see it across different cultures, different religions.
So many different places.
It offers this hope, this comfort to those who feel like they're at the mercy of injustice.
Exactly. Like that even when things seem hopeless, there's a force out there fighting for what's right.
Right. But it's not just about, these big, epic historical events. Psalm 10 speaks to the everyday injustices that we all face, too.
For sure.
I mean, maybe you've been in a situation where you felt like someone took advantage of you. Or you saw someone being bullied. It might not make the news.
Yeah.
But that longing for justice, for things to be made right.
It's just as real.
It's just as real.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I find so fascinating about Psalm 10. In spite of all the pain, all that anger and frustration, it doesn't just end on this note of despair.
It doesn't wallow.
It doesn't wallow. It actually shifts. The tone kind of changes. It shifts to this sense of trust and confidence.
Oh, yeah. The very end.
There's that line, you defend the fatherless and oppressed, so that mere mortals may no longer terrorize them. Like it's almost this...
A breath of fresh air.
Yeah, this breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like even amidst all the darkness and injustice.
There's still hope.
There's still hope.
And that's such a powerful message, right? Like history and literature are full of stories about people finding hope in the darkest of times. That even when it seems like everything's lost, that spark of hope, that belief that things can get better, it can keep you going.
It can keep you going. So the question is, what does this all mean for us today? Here we are, thousands of years later, reading this ancient psalm. What's the takeaway? How do we balance our own desire for justice with the reality that the world is often, a pretty messed up place? What can we learn from the cry of the oppressed in Psalm 10?
Those are some tough questions.
Yeah.
And Psalm 10 doesn't give us any easy answers, like a step-by-step guide to achieving justice.
Yeah.
But what it does do, it gives us this framework for understanding it all, like the complexities of justice, of power.
Power dynamics, yeah.
And the human condition.
Yeah.
And that in itself is incredibly valuable.
It really is. It's this powerful reminder that even when things seem bleak, that yearning for justice, for fairness, that flicker of hope, those are the things that keep us going, right? Those are the things worth fighting for. So listener, what do you think? How do you find hope in the face of injustice? How do you keep fighting for what's right even when the odds feel stacked against you?
We'd love to hear your thoughts.